Understanding Bonds, Courtrooms, and the Financial System, a comprehensive overview. The role of bonds in legal proceedings. Court proceedings, particularly following an arrest, revolve heavily around financial instruments known as bonds. Upon arrest, a bid bond is issued, typically using standard forms, SF 273, 274, and 275 in the United States District Court. These forms are managed by the General Services Administration, GSA. Specifically, GSA Form SF-24 refers to the bid bond, SF-25 to the performance bond, and SF-25A to the payment bond. Each of these bonds carries a penal sum, indicating the monetary obligation at stake. If a defendant does not pay or resolve this debt, they fall into default judgment. This is a crucial point in most courtroom strategies and outcomes. The legal process thereafter functions to convert these bonds into financial instruments for trade and profit. Financialization of judgments and prison industry implications. Once a default judgment is rendered, it is often purchased by the U.S. District Court, which in turn collaborates with reinsurance companies. These entities, certified by the Secretary of the Treasury, monetize the bonds. Underwriters then pool these bonds to create mortgage-backed securities, MBS, which are sold on financial markets such as the TBA, Bond Market Association. In essence, default judgments become tradable investment securities. Companies like Corrections Corporation of America, CCA, and others are tied to this trade, and public stock tickers like CWX, CWD, and CWG track these securities globally. Lex Mercatoria and your legal status. Courtrooms operate under Lex Mercatoria, or merchant law. Under the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, anyone who regularly uses commercial paper is legally deemed a merchant and presumed to be an expert. Every signature you provide creates a negotiable instrument, and under UCC 3419, you act as an accommodation party, someone who lends their signature to support another party's debt. Thus, when you sign court documents or financial forms, you essentially authorize the creation of financial obligations in your name, further enabling the state or corporations to profit from your legal entanglements. Redeeming the bond and avoiding dishonor. The failure to redeem a bond in court results in dishonor and default. Courts operate on the assumption that you will not assert your position as the principal of your legal estate. When the judge makes demands or presents charges, this is a formal request for performance under UCC 3501. If you do not perform, by rebutting their presumptions or offering settlement, you are dishonored. Instead, you must settle the account from the outset. Conditional acceptance is a strategic method to do this. For example, you may state, "I am willing to proceed once you show that valid charging documents exist on the record." This is a negative averment and serves as a rebuttal to any unstated assumptions. CUSIP, AUTOTRIS, and court strategy. A key part of the strategy involves referencing your CUSIP and AUTOTRIS numbers. The CUSIP, Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedures, tracks all securities, including your birth certificate, which is considered a financial security. The AUTOTRIS number corresponds to your Social Security number, SSN, without dashes. Using these identifiers, you may instruct your legal representative, or appointed counsel, to deliver a letter rogatory or acceptance for honor that requests post-settlement enclosure. This includes acceptance of charges for value, discharge of debt, and a directive to use your exemption. Example wording: I accept your charges for value and consideration in return for post-settlement and closure of case account #123456789, CUSIP AUTOTRIS #. Please use my exemption for full settlement and closure. Fiction of law and the two-ledger system. In admiralty or maritime law, courts operate using legal fictions, concepts that appear real but are not. Everything is colorable. On the public side, all entities are insolvent. You, however, exist on the private side with an account backed by the Federal Depository Insurance Corporation, FDIC, under Title 12. Your Social Security account is actually a demand deposit account, insured and backed with up to $10 million in coverage. This makes you worth more in debt, or legally dead, than alive, which is why the system profits from imprisonment, insurance claims, and bond trading. The hidden role of the Sestake Trust. Every tradable security, including birth certificates and SSN applications, is assigned a CUSIP and rolled into mutual fund investments. Upon maturity, profits are transferred into a Sestake Trust, used by the state to pay for public services like Social Security, Medicare, and even warfare or corporate bailouts. Despite this, citizens are taxed and encouraged to buy private insurance, even though the trust already covers most liabilities. Major insurance firms are owned by entities like the Vatican, benefiting from public ignorance. Mortgage companies, loan services, and utility providers often tap directly into these trusts and double bill the public. The next time you receive a statement, consider signing it as approved and returning it. If pressed, demand a true bill, which outlines only what is currently due, rather than already paid charges. Conclusion: know your status and assert your rights. In court, it's not about criminality, it's about commerce. By understanding commercial law and asserting your private status, you can reclaim control of your legal and financial identity. Courts, attorneys, and corporations depend on your ignorance. Empower yourself with knowledge and assert your position as fiduciary and principal of your legal estate. Only then can you exit the cycle of presumed guilt and financial exploitation.